Now then, people, thank you for joining us once again. It's much appreciated. Back with a diary of a plumbing and heating engineer. If you've not watched before, basically, I'm Macaulay. We've got a guest on this week, and it's Luke, the plumber. Excited at that side. And we're going to get into all things plumbing and heating, and then we're going to probably touch on the bit of social media world. So, hi, Luke, and how you doing?
Yeah, sound, mate. Sound.
Good. Do you want to introduce yourself and say a bit about yourself?
No, I'm Luke. 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 I'm from Castleford in West Yorkshire, which is not far from you. I'm from Leeds originally, so it's the same as you, really. And I do.
Good to have a fellow Yorkshireman on for a change.
That's it. And I've done.
There's not many Yorkshiremen on social media these days. They're all from down south or Manchester.
No. Yeah.
Hi, Fred. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. Thanks for joining us once again. So, Luke, like I said, we're just going to get into where did it all begin for you as a plumber? Or did you just start as a plumber, or did you start with your gas straight away as well?
So, no, it's a bit, really, when I was at school, I wanted to be a joiner. I wanted to be a joiner, and when I was still at school, I was doing joinery part of my year 10 and 11 at school, and I was promised an apprenticeship at Leeds Council, but it was the year Leeds Council privatised, so I kind of got let down. So I kind of like between a rock and a hard place. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it was about time when everyone was saying, "Oh, computers are the way to go." So I went to computer college in Leeds and learned to build computers, but I wouldn't know how to do it now. Like, so I did that for a year, and then after that, I went to work for a joinery firm, AD Simpson Joinery in Leeds. But I knew I wanted to. I knew by then, because my dad was a plumber, so it's second generation. I'd always been going and doing jobs and that with him, so I just decided that's what I wanted to do. So I initially enrolled on one of these home learning courses, and I realised it just wasn't going to happen, and it wasn't very good. So I the joinery firm laid me off temporary while they found a new contract, and that just gave me the kick up the backside to get an apprenticeship. So I sent letters. I must have sent letters to hundreds of different companies, and I got one response back, but it turns out it were the guy that I actually wanted to be a joiner, that made me want to be a joiner. That he had a plumbing firm with another guy, and C&L Plumbing Services, and they took me on, and now I worked for them for I think 5 or 6 years, and that's where I did my apprenticeship.
So how old were you at that stage? Were you 16, just at school, or?
No, when I started my apprenticeship, I would have just been coming up to 19 or 8.
Right.
No, just coming up to 18.
Right, so you're a bit late into it. How did you find that coming into it a bit late? Because I imagine when you go to college, there were probably younger lads there, 16-year-olds.
Not really. It wasn't too. No, it wasn't too bad. That it wasn't.
Was it not?
Because I think I passed my driving test just before I started college. So that was obviously a big part of a better thing for being an apprentice, being able to drive.
Yeah, I found that as well.
I got given a van more or less as soon as I passed my test, but the van were just solely to fetch the scrap back to the yard every day because we were on central heating.
Fair enough. So how did you find it as an apprentice, at college? And did you do one day a week at college, or were you a block?
Yeah. No, we did one day a week, and we did night school as well, which I don't remember nowadays. They don't we used to go on one day a week from 9 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
But they don't seem to do that nowadays. But it seems a lot longer, the apprenticeships.
Right.
I did 3 years. And the 4th year was supposed to be like your MVQ and stuff, but I'd done that in my 3rd year, so I was finished after 3 years.
Right.
But I did it with JTL, They were a management, like an apprentice training company, which they were really good to, like, you still went to Leeds College of Building, but they managed it, and they opted you out of the gas at the time, and I didn't end up doing the gas. I was able to go back so long, but I'd ended up, the firm, I didn't have the opportunity to get my evidence, so I didn't do it, and then I've only just done that in the last 6 months now, my ACS.
Right. Also, you're fairly new into the gas.
So the
game
gas
then.
part of it, I've been plumbing 17 years, but the gas part of it is, I've only just done that. But when I was at that firm in Leeds, CNL, we did a lot of social housing, or all the way through my apprenticeship, it were full central heating systems, one central heating system a day in Wakefield.
So
And
did they not want? Were they not interested in putting you through your gas?
It were more. It were by the time the work. But by the time I needed to do it, there wasn't as much gas work, and then it nearly got to the end of me working at that company. I think I had a kid, and then it got to the end of me working at that company.
Right. Actually, you didn't stick with them for long. You say you were only with them for about 6 years.
I think about 5 or 6 years, yeah.
So you basically served your time with them, got a bit of experience, and then you moved on.
Because that we're doing social, like Leeds City Council work and a lot of.
Oh, right, okay. Right, so I bet you've seen some scenes in the social housing world.
the best one were there were an house, and there were simpletons, and there was this toolbox at the bottom of the stairs, but they'd laid a carpet and cut the carpet around this toolbox.
No way.
And we just were like, why? But, you see some sites.
I can imagine. I can really imagine. So then, from leaving your first company, 6 years in, you say you had a kid. Did you move company for
I
region, or were you not happy at that company?
I had Callum. It were the company that I worked for then. I had a lot of respect for him, and even looking back now, I still see my boss and my old boss Andy, and they were bang on with me. I've got a lot of respect for them, and they looked after me. But I got another opportunity. I could see things were happening with the company, and 6 months after I left, they went into administration. But that was the week before I got married as well, so that would have been quite difficult. So I left there and went to work for a plastering firm in Leeds called CD Robinson, and I was like the only plumber working for them. Right. And that were again working for Leeds Council, doing voids and stuff, and disrepair as well. We did that then, and
so were you just doing plastering work then, or were you still doing plumbing work?
Just plumbing and bits of other things. Over time, I picked up multi-skilled sort of things, but it's solely been mainly just plumbing.
Right. Yes. So I'm taking it you've since you've done a lot of social housing, you've stayed in social housing then?
That's it. So after CD Robinson, I went to actually work direct for Leeds City Council for 6 months.
Right.
But it was weird because my dad had just retired and I kind of replaced him.
What? Did your dad work for Leeds City Council already?
My dad worked for Leeds City Council for 40 years. And, and he retired, and I went there through an agency, and I realised there wasn't really much opportunity. It were kind of the same thing every day. So I got offered to go work for an housing association, and I went to work at Wilmot Dixon, and then that's where I am now. But I've been stupid 4 different times. So I've been there 9 years, but stupid 4 different times.
Right, fair enough. So how do you still enjoy social housing? Do you not fancy going on your own eventually, or?
Yeah, I did, but I do enjoy it. But I have been over the last few years. I've been classed as multi-skilled, so I do like locksmith and stuff like that. But there again, but my heart and soul's just plumbing. And over the years, I'd been promised gas so many times, and then eventually it's come now, and I've finally got it. So at the moment, I'm transitioning to work for the compliance section at work, so I'll be literally working on gas and not as much doing other stuff.
Literally, pardon the pun. So going back to your ACSE gas, how did you find that, like going into it later on in your career? Were it a big thing? Were it a bit difficult to do? Or did you get it like a duck on water?
Partly, obviously, I'd been about it. Part of level 3, 13 years ago, or whatever it was, back when I finished college, you did part of your gas then. And I still kind of had a bit of an insight into it then. And then moving forward over the years, I've always been around gas engineers, so you pick stuff up, but it wasn't plain sailing. It was difficult, 100%.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, did you have to, for that ACS? Was it how did it work? Just for anyone that's watching, really, how did it work? Did you have to go back to college, or did you do it like off
a training centre? But I had to get a portfolio as well, and the portfolio were 50 jobs because of the offset your qualifications, or at the time it's changed now, I believe, but the offset your qualifications to how many jobs you have to do. So I had level 3 plumbing qualifications, so that kind of like made you not have to do many jobs. But there were lads that walked in there that didn't have no plumbing or trade related qualifications and just got just had to do 80 jobs.
Right. Wow.
And it took a lot out of me, the portfolio. There were a lot of work.
Imagine. Did the company you're working for, did they help you with that, or did you have to do that off your own?
No, they helped me get my jobs through join working.
Yeah, that's good, because I know I've had people messaging me before asking for help to get bits of the portfolio, offering the services for free, basically, just because they're struggling to get the portfolio stuff, because it is hard. I know when I did it, I would do the same things every day, and so you can't just show the same thing on every port. They want to see different things on your portfolio, yeah. So I struggled with some of mine, but luckily got it all done. But I'm different from you. I did all mine in 4 years. So I did my plumbing, my unvented, and then my gas. So I went mine about slightly different to yourself.
That's it.
So yeah, we covered it basically how you got into the trade. Just want to say, if anyone has got any questions, please do drop it in the comments below. For either myself or for Luke, we're happy to answer any questions. And if you haven't done already, please do smash the like button. And if you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button, because I know there's a lot of people that do watch that aren't subscribed. So moving on swiftly, we'll go into your likes and dislikes. So we'll start with, let's say, likes. What do you like about the trade? What's your favourite jobs, stuff like
that? To be honest, I don't I like everything about the trade. I like technical stuff and fault finding, and to try and sort good things out. And
yeah,
but I like the bread and butter stuff as well. The tap repairs and stuff like that. I don't mind that. But then on the other hand, I like to solve a problem.
Yeah. It's like I find it quite satisfying when you solve a problem, especially if you know people have been there before who struggle to solve it, and then you solve it. It is very satisfying. Is that, I've got to say.
100%.
So, what are your dislikes then? What don't you like about the trade, and what could be your worst possible job to ever go to?
A sani floor, a block sani floor.
Yeah, it's wet vacs are great for them.
Yeah, but it's still. Do you want a wet vac rolling about in your van that you've just vacked out that's full of? I used to just hire them. We used to have a block of flats in Sheffield, right in the centre, and now it's don't comply to building regulations because every toilet in the building was off a sani floor, so which don't comply to building regs.
Yeah.
But, and no, even like baths and stuff run off these sani floors, and we'd go to them, and people had had to still been using them. So I'd just go to HSS and hire a big, massive wet vac. So I had stuck the lot out, but I'd take it back to HSS.
I bet they were well pleased with you.
But yeah, sani floors are the horrible things.
Yeah, they're not nice. I've even now I found there's a lad in Leeds. I can't remember his name now for the life of me. And he's actually a Sunny Floor specialist. It's like majority of his work.
I think
I just send all my Sunny
does
Floors to
Sunny
him.
Floor send them out? Because we had one of them big like dishwasher ones we fit in a cellar in Chapeltown in Leeds years ago, and it had we had 4-inch going to it, and it was 2-inch coming out. It had like you put gate valves on the 4-inch. They were like guillotines, like plungers, and this guy come out, and he were like the Sunny Floor engineer, but he was like a private company.
Yeah, I bet the same guy if he were from Leeds then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's based up Headingley, Burley way, I think. But yeah, I send all my stuff to him now. I'll fit him. I don't mind fitting him because I like to think that I fit him correctly. So I've never had touch wood. None of that I fit come back to me unless someone's put something down there they shouldn't.
I don't think they go wrong. I don't think they go wrong often. It's like I've done a lot on whale pumps. Do you know the gulper pumps with the wet rooms? Obviously over the years, and a lot of them don't go wrong. The guy I met the guy who like from he was like one of the managers or something in Ireland years ago, and he basically says in so many years we've only ever had one fail under warranty. When we've tested them all, they've not failed, and because there's stuff that goes wrong. It's like the most common thing with that is it's all in plastic pipe. Everyone puts inserts in it. You don't put an insert in the, say it's like a 15 or 22 mil pipe coming from the gully. You don't. It's low pressure, so you don't have to put inserts in. They just block it up.
Yeah, because it's reducing the bottom of the pipe in it, of course. Yeah. It's same with Sunny Floors, like you say. It's if they're used correctly, and you're not putting wipes down there and lady tampons and stuff like that. They don't block up. But the other thing is, I seem to find that I fit a lot of them in student accommodation because obviously they want to get as many rooms in a terrace house, but they go in basement. So you've got a couple in basement, and students aren't bothered to throw anything down it. So they're the only ones I've ever had to go back to, which have blocked up. I've had a few that have like conked up in over time, but it tends to be that they've put too much toilet roll down. It's the motor's got clogged up and stuff like that. But it's not very, like I said, not very often I ever open them up because it's not the nicest job in the world.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to open it up. I prefer just to take the toilet out and get into it from there.
Yeah. I've only ever opened up, I'd say 2, and had to clean it out or get something out that's been dropped down it before. But yeah, it's not a nice job. It's not one for the faint-hearted. Let's say that for at least. One for the apprentices. Give it to an apprentice if you got an apprentice. Do you have an apprentice company you work for?
We've got a really good lad, Connor. He took it like a duck to water, and he's been bang on with us, and you're showing him a few things, and now he just goes off on his own, and he's bang on and really reliable. Then at the moment we've just introduced a multi-skilled apprentice, so he's like with us as well, and then we have got a gas apprentice as well.
Right. It's good that you've found lads that are actually interested, because I've had 2 apprentices before and neither of them worked out just because I found them not even interested in the job. They were just there to get a wage, go home. I genuinely think if I'd put them all the way through the apprenticeship, at the end of it, they'd have left and gone to go get an easier job doing stacking shelves.
I don't think I could do it. I don't think if I worked for myself, unless it was somebody like love related, or family related, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something. I don't think I could. Because like you've seen, I've put a bit on my nephew. My nephew's just started an apprenticeship, and he come with me at the weekend on that charity job. And he's proper keen, and he really wants to get into it and that. And he got given a bending machine at that charity job, and he's like, I want to practice. So I was saying to him, if you get a bit we'll try and get you a piece of MLCP, which I don't use all like that, but do you know that barrier, that plastic with the aluminium, and you can practice your bends with it, and then form it back into shape. So I said I'd get him some of that so he can practice.
Yeah, it is about practicing. When I first started, I didn't. My first boss that I did, he didn't let me do a lot hands on.
Yeah.
So it took me. I'd say at least 3 years before I become confident at anything.
Were you able to go out on your own? Didn't they send you out on your own? Like,
yeah.
no.
So when I first started out, I was with this certain company for two years, and then he took his son on, and he couldn't keep 2 apprentices, one bloke, so he let me go. But I had to go self-employed, working for another new build firm,
Right.
and there I was with someone else every day. And then it wasn't until I started my 4th year, I went to another company in Pudsey, and that was the best thing I ever did. Go to them. He just let me out. He took the first couple of jobs. He had me with people, but he knew I knew what I was doing, and then he just let me out, go and do my own stuff. And then he'd obviously check it over and that. But I'm one of these that I learn by doing
Yourself. That's how I learned.
If I stand over someone watching them, I'll pick bits up, but it don't go in properly. It's same with like reading a book. I was never good at college and at school, because if I were reading a book, I wouldn't know what to. It just go in one ear and out over.
I was pushed out straight away. Like within my first year, I was out on my own, like doing little jobs. Like we'd be on estates doing central heatings, and we'd be sent to do radiators and that. There were me and another apprentice that used to share a van sort of thing. I could drive at first, so I used to take the van home and stuff. But then we'd get told to do little jobs and stuff, and then I got moved to work on bathrooms, and we're there within my first year, or fitting bathrooms and first and second fixing kitchens and stuff.
Right.
On my Todd, and that's just how you learn. Yeah, you have mistakes.
I don't get me wrong. When I did work for the first guy and even the second company, I did do bits, but I was never allowed. I never got given a van. I never got to go do my own jobs. There might have been the odd time where I got left on the job to do bits. I picked stuff up then, but a lot of the time we did a lot of boiler breakdowns, especially with the first company. So obviously I couldn't do that on my own. So I had to go around with him, and even now I still don't remember much of it because I want doing it myself. So I'm not confident with boiler breakdowns at all these days, which is a bit. It not disappoints me, but it's a regret that I didn't pick it up as well, because there's a lot of money to be made in.
It's not too late, though, is it? Like, look at different.
I was talking to Luke, who was on last time, which is, I'm just going to shamelessly plug this. If you haven't watched the last episode of Diary of a Plumber and Heating Engineer, we have Luke from Blue Bulldog. Great episode. Do go check that out. So I was talking to him last time, and it was on about boiler breakdowns, and I was saying to him that I need to get on some training courses, like fault finding courses. I don't just want to go to like Worcester's fault finding course or like Bax's fault finding course.
They say Bax's the best. They say Bax's a good one. Though.
That's what Bulldog said. But I want to try find maybe like a generic one for like finding like generic faults and stuff like. I know the basics, but when it comes to like electrical breakdowns, like with multimeters and stuff, I'm not confident. I don't feel confident in it. I don't do it.
That Baxi one, I think so, is a lot of multimeter stuff, and it's not just Baxi. It shows you the principle of other ones, because I've looked into it, and one of the colleagues at work did it, and I do fancy doing that. I think it's a 3-day course.
Yeah, well, I went on the Baxi, just a normal like trade day. It's free, you don't have to pay for it. I went on that at Leeds Building College, and they even did a little bit then. Finding faults on not finding faults, but testing like ampage and stuff like that, and of certain components. So I imagine it probably is a good one. So I'll speak to what's his bloody name now? I forgot his name. The Baxi rep, I can't remember his name. I'll speak to Baxi rep and see about getting on that. Speaking of boiler breakdowns, Dan from Central Heating King has got a good question. Has silly season started for you two yet? Has it started for you?
No, not yet.
No, it hasn't started for me. To be honest, I just keep plodding away. I'm happy how I am at the moment. I'm not overly busy. I'm not quiet, but it's just steady away. But I have noticed recently I've had a lot of customers asking about boiler servicing, because it's getting to that time of year where people will start turning the boilers on. I've had quite a lot of boiler services coming, so
I don't know why people don't get them serviced in the summer though.
it makes so much more sense.
It just winds me up.
Yeah, even if, because most people they'll get a boiler fit, say in September, October, they'll wait till October, September to get the boiler service again. Bring it forward, bring it to like April, July, June, when you don't need the heating on. Get it serviced, and you know it's all right for winter.
That's so cool though. Like when I was an apprentice, we used to fit central heatings all year round, and on like the hottest day of the year, testing a full central heating system, you absolutely like sweltering because
it always falls right that you'll be fitting a central heating system in a loft on the hottest day of the year. It's always the case. Before we move on to any questions, Dan Luke's writes mainly focused on how to use a multimeter. What the Baxi one you're talking about there, Dan? And York Heating and Plumbing Solutions, Viva Training. Is Viva Training? They're based in Halifax, I think, aren't they?
Richard.
Is it Richard? I might have to speak to them and see if about getting on their course and if they do a generic one, because that'd be good.
I think there's a guy there, Roy. He used to be one of the Baxi trainers.
All right.
Roy, and he used to be there. I don't know if he's still at Viva.
Right, I'll have to check that out, because I definitely do need to get on it and just get my confidence up again with it, because I've been turning boiler repairs down. I hate turning customers away, to be honest. It's especially being self-employed. It's not nice.
Working in social housing, I'm going to get my fair share, but there's always somebody that can help me, and we've kind of got the stocks kind of generic. We've before it were there's most of them are Pottertons, so Baxi, and the Pro Maxes, and then we're moving to putting Ideals in now. So yeah.
How have you fit any of the new Ideal, the Logic 2s?
I fit one last week. Luckily they've changed it now, haven't they? Because
changed the PIB.
When I was doing my portfolio, I fit one of the other ones, and they were crap. And I was installing, I was talking to him, like, why have you done that? And he said, good news, we've changed it back.
Yeah. And I think they got a lot of backlash, didn't they, with it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Other than that, I think it looks all right, to be fair. It looks like an Ideal boiler. It's what I'd expect from Ideal. It's a shame you can't range rate them.
That's it.
But you speak to any reps, and even Baxi saying speak to reps, they say the self range rating, so the range rate itself. But I don't know if I believe that or not.
That Worcester, you can, like I was saying, today I was in City Plumbing and I seen that Worcester 1000, that new one, and that just looks like a Baxi. That just inside it just looks like a Baxi, and by all accounts you can range rate that, and is it starting at £7,500 including VAT?
Is that what it is, including VAT?
I think something like that. It's
right.
Yeah,
I'll have to have a look at them, because Luke Bulldog mentioned this last week. He says when you probably won't know this, but when you go to a customer and you're quoting the job, sorry, you ask what boiler do you want. I'd say the majority of the time they say Worcester. I don't like fitting Worcesters because I don't think they're the best boilers in the world. But for that price, if it's a decent boiler, they've upgraded the heat exchanger to the same one Baxi uses, you can't really fault it, to be fair, especially at $750.
It's like an iPhone, isn't it? It's people know it as an iPhone, so that's probably going to help. And if you could say, "Look, I could put a Worcester on your wall for whatever," and they're going to be like, "Oh, that's good." And if it does what it says on the tin, it's a decent boiler. Yeah, it's going to help. It's going to help.
Oh yeah, I think. They're the only, well, as far as I'm aware, the only boiler manufacturer that advertises on TV, and majority of people watch TV, and it's only
and next up the right takeaway. They're on that, aren't they?
Yeah, everywhere You don't ever see a Baxi advert or a Wiesmann advert.
Valent do.
I
Is
see a
it
Valent
Valent do
every now
one,
and then.
don't they, for the heat pump and stuff as well?
But we like Worcester, you've got British Gas advertise it, Worcester advertise it, HelpLink advertise it.
Oh,
There's loads out there advertising it.
it's
So
not
they are
HelpLink
doing
now,
more.
is it? It's not
What's that?
HelpLink now. It's boxed, in it. They're HelpLink sold to HomeServe, I believe, but then one of the managers set up Boxed because Boxed is at the same office as HelpLink were up at Colton.
I knew Box were Leeds based. I didn't realise it was part of.
It's at Colton. Yeah.
Oh, right, I didn't know that. Right, that's interesting.
I applied to HelpLink for an apprenticeship in 2006 when I was looking for an apprenticeship, and it was just a little shop above a solicitors in Rothwell in Leeds. It was just a little office, and then they went massive, and then
two lads I went to college with, they had apprenticeships for HelpLink, and they did really well. To be fair, like they were well looked after. They had their own bands. They was on better money than the rest of us. So it just, I know when people like are asking for apprenticeships, I always send them to like your bigger companies because you're going to get better experience working for a bigger company because you're going to get passed around between engineers. So you're going to learn off of engineers where, like myself, I went with a one-man band. You're learning off one bloke. So if that one bloke's teaching you the wrong way, you're going to pick up the wrong way and go further in life the wrong way. Like I did a lot of, especially with a second company, with new build. So I'm not saying it's wrong, but I got to teach a lot of push fit, like speed fit pipe. So that to me, that was normal. I thought I was doing it right. But then when I got into the social media world, I realised it's a bit frowned upon, to be fair. Yeah. So then even like now, I'm more doing more copper work. Don't get me wrong, speed fit and push fit's got its own. It's got its uses here and there.
Do you like speed fit? Like if I had to choose any, I always go up to her because I see a lot of speed fit when you go, especially new build. They vibrate loose, you know, when they put it on central heating, don't they? You know, obviously you shouldn't really put it on central heating anyway, but they vibrate loose with the pump and the circulation, and the nuts fully come apart. And obviously,
I think, yeah and no. Like I've used speed fit, I've used Hep2O, I've used polypipe. I've even used Flowplast at one point. Don't ever use Flowplast; it's awful. And the Flowmaster stuff from Screwfix. That is a lawsuit waiting to happen. That
the polypipe is the old Hep2O though, isn't it? Do you remember the old grey Hep2O?
Yeah.
So the polypipe stuff. You know, the grey, you get white polypipe, don't you, and grey polypipe.
Yeah.
But that's identical to the original Hep2O.
Right. Well, the white polypipe is Polymax. They call it Polymax now.
Right.
I was using that for quite a while, and it's spot on, to be fair. And no problems with it whatsoever. It looks like Hep2O, and you can screw the caps off to get inside it if needs be. But like I said, I've used them all, and I think just because I started out and I've used SpeedFit the most, I've just stuck to it, to be honest. And compared to Hep2O especially and Polypipe, it's a lot cheaper. It's cheaper, but SpeedFit I've been putting the price up recently. So I went to Polymax, but then I moved back to SpeedFit because I don't use it as much. So I thought if I'm just gonna have it on van anyway, I'm just gonna stick to something that I know, just in case. But like I said, I've used more copper now. I do want to get into press eventually. If anyone wants to help me out getting into press, you're more than welcome. Drop me a comment. So
me as well.
Yeah. we're not all gifted like Mark Tiff and get a press it or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's it.
To help us out.
Who knocks on a toilet door though?
Who knocks on a toilet door?
Who knocks on a toilet door?
I've seen that video. Go away. Right, moving on to the next question. What have we got? So let's go for what have you been up to today? Let's tell everyone what you've been up to today.
I had a really good morning, really good heat only boiler, and then it's obviously the first one I've done on my own. That went fine. And then the wiring. Oh yeah, it was a minefield. We got an electrician come to give me an hand, and he didn't have a clue really, because it's each to your own. And you need to be quite understanding of it all, and it's something I need to pick up on, all your switch lives and stuff like that. So yeah, I had boiler all done, flue med up, filled up and everything for 12 1 o'clock, and then I still didn't leave till 5 o'clock.
What, just because electrician didn't know what we were doing?
Yeah, luckily I got one of my pals who were working near, and he knows a lot about wiring. He come and give us a hand and got it sorted.
What I will recommend for you, worth looking into, is getting, boilers to bathrooms.
I've got it. Yeah.
Did that not help you out?
No, because it were more what it was is the wire, the colours of the wires. They'd use different colours for different things.
Right.
It was just all over the place.
What.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to be honest, I didn't even think of getting that out. But I don't think it'd have helped me. I honestly don't.
Yeah,
ideally, I'd have preferred to start again, but obviously you can't, can you?
It's easier sometimes, but like you say, it's like with yourself being in social housing, it's not as simple as that. It's just get the job done. If you
had a boiler and the cylinder in the same cupboard with the controls, you'd just want to just do it all again, wouldn't you?
You might as well. If it's like that, it might as well. But when you've got cables chasing walls and stuff like that, you just can't, can you? It's not practical. No, fair enough. I'm on with another dreaded bathroom, to be honest. I've been really quiet on. What's that?
Thought you weren't doing anymore?
Yeah, well, I must say that on every single bathroom. This I've already said it's my last one, and I've already got one of them booked in for November. So yeah, that'll probably be my last one until I get another one booked in. I've been quiet on the boiler front, to be honest. I put a post out yesterday, I think it was, the day before, saying how do people get their boiler installs? Is it word of mouth? Is it advertisement? Is it boiler breakdowns and stuff like that? Or is it something else? And majority of people say word of mouth. So that's no help to me. I'm hoping they're going to say advertising or boiler breakdowns and stuff like that, so I can push someone to get more boiler installs in.
I think that I've seen, since this has all come about that Worcester, I've seen a few posts that people's been putting on with a really good deal with that Worcester, because like you say, it's a name. Do you know, put a package together to say how much you can fit it and get it all sorted for you, and people's going to think, oh, that's a good deal, that, isn't it? Do you know? Yeah. And I think it was Pete Matthews hotting up. He put a post on with a deal with that on, and it just looked like what you say. It's everyone knows what a Worcester is.
Yeah, you're paying for that name, aren't you? Everyone knows that name. And like you say, it's like the iPhone. People go for an iPhone because it's an Apple.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
But they'll get an iPhone.
I've always said Worcester is a well advertised plastic box.
Yeah. Or a sharp knife.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a lover of them, but I will be honest, I'm gonna give it a try just to see if it does pull a few more jobs in.
Have you fit an ECA? Have you fit any ECAs or Navians?
The only times I've ever seen a Navian or ECA is at installer. Never seen one.
Yeah. I've where did I see? I think I seen a Navian on the wall in a Merchants. I think it was Duftons. I think they might have one that they use. But yeah, and the ECAs, they're a southern thing, aren't they? You don't see many up here.
No, their office is based in London, isn't it? So I think they're not a massive company yet. I don't think. I imagine they probably will spread further north, but
they look smart. But
they do look smart, but I don't know. To me, I think they look cheap.
Yeah.
I like how they look and the digital stuff on the front. It does look good.
They try to be like the Worcester. They try to be like the black Worcester, aren't they?
Yeah, but you don't need that on a boiler. A customer's not bothered about that. As long as it gives them heat, they're not bothered about it. But the inside they don't look all that, to be honest. But with them being so new, it's a bit hard to say whether it's a good boiler or not. Give it 10 years, then you can start seeing if you're going back to it every 2 minutes to breakdowns and that.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Like you can only get parts from them, I believe.
Yeah.
You can only get
It's direct.
And obviously, I know the Navian's got a decent warranty on it, hasn't it?
14 years, is it?
Yeah, but Navian say you don't have to put a filter on, but then that don't comply with regulations, does it? So,
well, regulations are manufacturing instructions always override. But
I don't know about the building regulations. They do.
Yeah, I think so.
They do the gas regs, don't they? But not. I don't know about building regs.
I'd have to double check that. I'm not sure.
Like
I know they do gas regs.
Like the condensate, I don't think there'll be any manufacturers that say you don't have to insulate your condensate, will there? But
no.
But even because obviously that's building regs. So
I'm not sure actually. I might have to double check that. I just presumed that with them being able to override gas regs, you'd be able to override the building regs as well.
Yeah, that is a real valid point, that though, because I doubt you would be able to.
Have you seen that? What York Heating and Plumbing said? Pointy said that the ECA makes the Worcester 1000 heat exchanger. ECA don't make it. It comes from a factory in
Turkey.
I can't remember. I was talking to Baxi Rep about it. There's two brothers who started making this heat exchanger and then a fallout. So they opened factories next door to each other. One makes one heat exchanger, one makes the other heat exchanger. The old Baxi heat exchanger was one brother, and the new Baxi heat exchanger is the other brother. So they've just swapped from one factory to another. I don't, like you said, I think majority of companies are moving over to this heat exchanger. So it might be the next best thing. I know it's got bigger waterways, but other than that, you're talking a few years before you can say whether it's good or not.
Because like somebody said there, Pointy says it's a Baxi, doesn't he?
Yes, he did. He said it was just a Baxi, basically. My comments aren't showing, I don't think, properly. So yeah, moving on. Like I say, if you have got any questions, do please drop them in the comments below. Don't leave it till the last minute, because last video we had everyone commenting in the last couple of minutes and we didn't have time to answer them all. So please do get them in early. We have only got about 15 minutes left. So moving on to my next question anyway. How and why did you get into social media? Are you just on Instagram?
I have got a TikTok, but I don't understand it. I don't bother with that. I don't. Right. It's like people keep saying, "Oh, why don't I do that as well?" But the social media for me, it's about 3 years ago. I was just watching everyone, and so then I just decided I'll just set it up, put little pictures on, and it all kicked off and made a bit of a whirlwind more. So back in the second lockdown, so 2021, so that was like 2020, and 2021, I decided to run a marathon for Rob Burrow, the Leeds Rhinos.
Oh yeah,
player with M&D. Yeah, and I thought, how can I make some money? How can I make a bit of money? Somewhat a bit different. So what I did is I got in touch with loads of plumbing firms through Instagram, and I got about $3,500 worth of tools and gear donated, and I raffled it all off. And I made, wow. I think I made $4,500 in all for the M&D Association. But that was solely just using Instagram and stuff to promote that. And I think, but looking back now, I think I'd have done better, because obviously I've got more of a following. I don't even think I had 1,000 followers back then. I didn't have many, but that kind of boosted it. that I kind of picked up more, and the amount of support that I got from manufacturers and companies, just they were just all happy to help. I think
I find that with social media, the companies are very willing to help and support, even like you say, smaller Instagram channels to do things like that for charity and stuff like that. I know you've got involved in a few charity installs and stuff, haven't you?
Yeah. No, I think 2 now, and I'd do more. The one in Leeds that we did in April that Grant Copper Skills organised.
Yeah,
it was solely just for one man, and he'd had an house fire, and when we come away from there on the night, there were 20 blokes, and we all just thought, this guy, he's got nothing. He's still got nothing. He had an ATAG boiler on the wall that were amazing, but it don't cook his tea or wash his pots, does it? Do you know?
No.
It's and he had the central heating system. I walked in, and it was low. Grant had designed the system at low temperature, and it was spot on. And do you know, I thought, wow. And this guy, all he had from his house fire were a mattress and a fridge magnet of Jet from the Gladiator that were on the side of his boiler. And
Wow.
we come away, and we were speaking about it in the group chat, a few of us, and I woke up the next morning. I woke up in night and I couldn't sleep, and before I knew it, I'd set a Just Giving page up for the guy, and we made just short of $3,000 in a few days.
Wow.
And that were again the plumbing community that just come together. And we went just before installer, we went to see the guy and give him the money, and he was absolutely over the moon. And
I bet you are. It's great of yourself for setting that up, and everyone that did get involved in the charity install, and especially all the companies for donating, like you say, ATAG and all them for donating their products to this bloke who's in such need after going through such a horrific thing.
They don't think twice about it, and I don't think they do it as well to line their own pockets, in publicity or anything. I think they just do it for the sole help. Like, back to that, what I did for Rob Burrows, I messaged Alpha, and straight away they says, we'll donate you some Apple EarPods for you to raffle off. 100 odd pound, I think they're like £200 at the time, and I raffled them off and made a few quid for the charity through that. And they didn't have to do that.
No, it's amazing what these companies will do, and like you say, there is such a good community on Instagram. One of my biggest regrets is not joining Instagram and the plumbing Instagram community when I was a lot younger as an apprentice. So I was a bit late into the scene. I only started it probably about the same time, about 2020, 21, maybe just before. So yeah, I regret not starting it a lot sooner, especially like I say as an apprentice. Anyone that is an apprentice that you're watching, I would recommend get on Instagram. You don't even have to post anything if you don't want. Just follow other channels, because you're going to pick up good things to do, ways of doing things. You're going to find tools that you've never seen before. I've come across tools I didn't even know existed, and I were using rubbish tools, and I thought they were the best tools in the world. But it turns out they're not. You don't have to get the best tools in the world, but
you pick stuff up. Like my apprentice the other day turned around to me and went, have you ever cut a McAlpine pan extension, flexible pan connector down? Yeah. And he'd seen a video how to do it, and he'd done it. And
that's me.
It might have been your video.
I bet it was.
And I haven't seen that video, but I've never seen it done, and it made me think you can do it. I think it was.
When I was on my 4th year apprenticeship, the lad who took me on, he showed me it that you could do it, and this were 2018 maybe, 2016, 18. So I've done it since back then, and I just put a video up once, and it skyrocketed. To be fair, I think it's one of the best tips I've ever give. And I seen the McAlpine rep down at Plum Call one day, and they went, short rep this tip you've got, and he didn't even know about it.
Is that Paul?
I don't know. I can't remember his name. He didn't know not about it. Anyway, I said, will it like void manufacturers like warranties? And it probably would void the warranty because obviously you're tampering with it, but he can't see anything wrong with it, because you're not actually like breaking a seal or anything like that. There's no glue involved. It's just literally just clicks into place. And I have arguments with people online about it all the time. It's not you. I won't go out of the way to buy the shortest one to cut it down. What I do is I always buy the long one, and then I've always got the longest one on the van. But if I need a shorter one, I can just cut that one down because it's cheaper than driving to Merchants and buying a shorter one because that one's too long.
No, yeah, that's
So yeah, it is a good little tip. Yeah, I bet it was your video. I've never seen anyone else do it. Yeah, Dan. Yeah, I think it was. I'd like to say never seen anyone else do it.
I will ask him tomorrow.
Yeah. What else was I gonna say? So, regards from the charity stuff, how have you found social media? How has it helped you as a plumber and gas engineer?
No, yeah, it's yeah. I feel I've bettered myself from it. It gives you that encouragement to go the extra mile, stand back and have a look and make sure, like I always, if do any copper, even if it's slid away, I always get wire wool out and give it a scrub up. That's just me. You just want to stand back for that satisfaction, don't you?
Yeah, it definitely does give you a sense of that you want to do better. And don't get me, there is some people on Instagram that do go above and beyond, and they give some amazing installs. And as a domestic engineer, you're not going to do them amazing installs all the time, but you just try up your game on every install and a little bit better. I know when I first started out, I was nowhere near as, not to say as good as I am now, but I like to think that I've improved my standard of work.
Because I don't work for myself, I haven't had that blank canvas as much. Like, it's a lot of maintenance work that I do, like a lot of different repairs and stuff like that. And there's not a lot of pipe work now. Going forward with the gas, there's more with the boilers and stuff, and the V pipes and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, fair enough. So we've not got long left now. So my last question to you is: what are your future plans? What are your plans to stay in social housing, or are you thinking possibly you might step into this self-employed game?
I'd never say never. I obviously want to get my wings and things like that, but we're not round the corner from that. If it were going to be anything, it'd be probably 4 or 5 years away, or even longer. Do you know? Like I'd never say never. I would like to give it a go, but
yeah,
it's obviously a bit challenging as well, isn't it? Like there's always different things getting chucked at you.
Definitely not easy. It's a big jump to go from having that security of working for someone to going self-employed. I was a bit, when I was young and I was guaranteed to go subcontract to a company, so it wasn't so much a risk for me as such, because I was only 19 when I went self-employed, so I've known nothing else really, to be honest. So yeah, like I say, it would be a big jump for you, like for yourself. But no, fair play for you, to you if you do ever take the jump, and you have to let me know if you do. I can always help you out and get you on a few jobs if you ever do go self-employed. Because that's another thing with social media. Everyone looks after everyone.
Yeah.
I know, like me and you were in a few group chats and that, and they're all willing to help everyone. Everyone on social media, they're all willing to help us all out. And if we've ever got a question or we're ever stuck on a job, there's always someone that'll answer it for you.
I've never had no negativity. Do you know, like people say you get these trolls and stuff like that? I've never, the odd, you know, stupid comment, you know, that somebody puts on, you know, stating the obvious.
Yeah.
But it's I've never had out that's really upset me or really annoyed me, which I know people like yourself and that you get these comments, and like Mark Tiff and stuff like that, and you just it's how you handle them and how you deal with them.
Of course. I find Instagram is, you don't get much troll on Instagram. It's quite a friendly, everyone's welcoming. You don't really get, even if you do put something up that's a bit not controversial, but not quite to Instagram standards, you don't get pulled on it. But if you put that on that same reel on TikTok or YouTube, you'll get picked on it straight away. Especially TikTok. TikTok's an awful place. There's a lot of nasty people. Some
But
people can be really nasty.
There's people that go on TikTok to basically catch all them nasty people. Like that guy. There's a guy from Leeds, isn't there? I can't remember his name. And he does bathrooms and kitchens and stuff. I haven't seen him for ages. But...
Oh, I know what you mean. MK.
Yeah, that's it.
He's a bit of a weird.
And he silicons all his McAlpine fittings and push fit fittings together.
Yeah.
But he does it, and I'm sure he does that just to get the views and get the trolls. Because if you get people commenting, that's what.
The
algorithm, isn't it?
If you do something, especially on TikTok, if you do something slightly wrong or something a bit controversial, your comments, your likes, and stuff like that will skyrocket 100%.
Yeah. So that's.
Have you seen that top tiers gas sniffer that I've got?
Yeah.
So I put a video up of that the other day, and that's got loads of people going, it's Chinese rubbish. It's not gas approved. Is it gas approved?
Don't have to be.
He said, could you get it do you have to get it calibrated every year? I'm like, you don't get gas sniffers calibrated every year. They're not taking a measurement. They're literally just smelling gas.
Yeah. You're still going to do a tightness test. You're not going to...
Oh, yeah.
You're using that as a tool to find the gas leak. You might use bubbles.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get a tin of bubbles calibrated.
If I go to a gas leak, I'll do a tightness test, identify there's a leak, go around with a gas sniffer, and once I've found something, then I spray it to see if there's bubbles, fix the leak, and then I won't go around with a gas sniffer again. I'd do a tightness test to make sure there's no leak.
One of my pals has got just one of them Centre brand gas sniffers, and we found the minutest leak on that. We couldn't even find it with LDF.
Well, that top test one it's about 20 quid. So I said to him, if you really want to get recalibrated, it'd be cheaper just to buy a new one.
Yeah,
just buy a new one every year. It's easier.
I didn't realise, I bought a cane manometer, and I always thought you had to get them calibrated, but you don't.
No, I got one from Test Meter. Test Meter in Leeds. I bought one from them a few years ago. I've never had it recalibrated.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about it because I need a new one, to be honest. But it doesn't quite always set to 0. It's like 0.1. That annoys me more than anything, to be honest.
That one I got, I bought it at installer, and it were Peaky that said these are good. And do you know what? I've started using it more recently, and it's got the times on it, so you press enter and it does your minute let by, and then so on and so on, and it tells you the first reading and the second reading, and it's just all in front of you. It's bang on.
Yeah. I use my cane one when I'm doing servicing or boiler installs. I use my cane analyzer. It's spot on, same thing. It tells you your first reading, second reading. I can't fault that.
Have you got a 458?
458S is it?
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, it does the tightness test as well. Someone was telling me you can do gas sniffing on them, but I'm guessing you've got to get another tool for it.
You'd have to get. I think you'd have to get another probe, wouldn't you?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I think we'll call it a wrap anyway because I'm knackered. I'm not even sat down tonight. So it's 8 o'clock. We've been going for an hour. So yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on, Luke. It's I've learned a lot about yourself and how you got into trade and stuff like that. Is there anything you want to say? Want to plug your Instagram? It's got any final words?
If anyone just gives a follow, that'd be sound.
Yeah, well, Luke's Instagram is in the description below. So if you're not following Luke on Instagram, please do go give him a follow. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe because it does mean a lot. And we are on the road to 8K by the end of the year. We're on, I think, 7,600. I might be lying, something like that. 600. So we're not far off 8K, but if we're going to hit 8K by the end of the year, that would be amazing. We have also recently hit 5K on Instagram, so I will be doing a giveaway over on Instagram. We've got a couple of good little prizes to give away on there. So if you're not following me on my Instagram, please do go check us both out. It is much appreciated. Before we go, I did promise Dan from Central Heat King to give a little bit of a shout out Dan does do a podcast similar to this over on TikTok. If you are on TikTok, please do go over there. Dan from Central Heat King, Luke from Bulldog Plumbing and Heating do a podcast called Plumber's Crack, and
It's
they
now,
are
isn't
it's right now 9 o'clock. It's probably just started.
MJ
and they've
Tiff.
got Mark from MJ Tiff on there, so that's gonna be a great episode to watch. So I will love you and leave you because I'm gonna go watch that
Real
myself.
World Plumbing.
Real World Plumbing. Yeah, I've got my own stickers of them now. I need to do a little video on that for Mark. So yeah, please do go check that out. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like button. And if you have got any comments, do drop them in the comments below. I will happily get back to everyone. So yeah, love you and leave you. Peace out.
See you later. Thank you. See you in a bit, buddy.